Having an understanding of the ledge in Smash Bros, along with knowing all of your options when you're hanging there, is an essential part of improving your game. Grabbing the ledge grants you temporary invincibility, but after a second or two, you'll have to make the choice of what to do from there. It is far too often that I see lower level players getting frustrated that they cannot return to the stage safely, not knowing that they're only alternating between two different options or just going for the same one every time. We're all guilty of it. In fact, one of the biggest ways I realize that I'm playing on autopilot and not paying attention to the game is realizing that I keep going for the same ledge option and getting hit every time. So this video is geared for beginners who might not know all of their options, but a more advanced ledge trapping video will be out in the future, so make sure to subscribe to stay tuned for that. When recovering to the stage, it's usually a good idea to try and grab the ledge, as you will get some temporary invincibility. But be careful, you will not get that invincibility again until you get hit or return to the stage. So for example, if I drop down and re-grab the ledge, I won't get it, but if I return to the stage and re-grab the ledge, I will get the invincibility again. If my opponent hits me while I'm grabbing the ledge, I will get it back as well. So once you grab the ledge, you have about 6 or so options depending on what you define as an option. One thing you have to realize is that your opponent has the advantage in this situation. If they correctly predict your timing and your option, they'll be able to punish you pretty hard, which can often lead to the loss of your stock. You can try and prevent this by mixing up the options the best you can. Now, later in the video, if I say this option is good in this scenario, it doesn't mean you should always go for that option. It just means that you should use it slightly more than you normally would. Now, if you're playing against lower level players, they won't be trying to predict options, they'll most likely just be reacting to whatever you do. But it's never too early to get in the habit of mixing up your ledge options, because once you start playing better players, you'll need to be unpredictable. First is Getup Attack. This is done by pressing A when holding the ledge, and is one of the options I see beginners use the most often. It's a small range attack that can be an okay tool to rack up a little bit of percent, or you can use it to punish a whiff prediction by your opponent. But if your opponent shields it, you could be in for a punish. You aren't going to be killing your opponent with this move unless they're at ridiculously high percent, so don't bother using this to finish off a stock. This is mostly just an option to throw out if your opponent is getting a little too comfy and not shielding. Second is Ledge Jump. This is performed by pressing jump from the ledge, so if you have tap jump on, pressing up, or just using X or Y. This is usually one of your safer options depending on your opponent. This is because you generally have to commit pretty hard to be able to punish this, but you can sometimes be left in a vulnerable state if your character isn't good at landing, or your opponent has a lot of anti-aerial moves. So while this might be one of the harder options to punish, if you get hit, you're going to be left in a worse state than if you had gotten punished for most of your other options. Then you have your ledge roll. Rolling from the ledge can be done by pressing the shield button, so for most people the L or R button. This is one of the easiest options to react to, but if you see that the opponent is very close to the stage and not covering this option, it might be a good idea. Be careful of characters who have a quick, powerful move like Mega Man's up tilt. Characters like these are able to cover other options while also being able to cover the roll with their strong move. A nice part of rolling is that even if they do predict it, they will probably send you in the direction that is farther away from the blast zone, allowing you to live longer, so that is something you should definitely keep in mind. Next is normal Getup. This is done by moving the analog stick towards the stage. So if you are on the right side of the stage, you press to the left. When doing this, you are only vulnerable for one frame, so you might think this is a very good option. However, if your opponent has a long-lasting move, like Charizard Neutral B or even like a Pikachu forward smash, you'll be vulnerable for getting hit. If your opponent doesn't have a long-lasting move, doing the neutral Getup and performing a quick move like a jab can be a good option. You'll see a lot of Captain Falcon players doing this. Next you have Dropdown Attack. This is done by pressing down and then jumping right after, and then usually performing an aerial, most likely your forward air, but this is character dependent. You have to be careful when doing this because you will lose your double jump if they hit you before landing. And you may not want to do this if your character has trouble returning from the stage without their jump. So you're probably not going to want to do this with a character like Little Mac or Ganondorf. But a character like Samus you'll see utilizing this option a lot. The last option is, well, waiting. Some people might not consider this technically an option, but mixing up the timing of when you return to the stage is definitely something you should do. So let's say your opponent is trying to cover you doing a neutral Getup and is charging a forward smash. If you wait for them to throw out the smash attack, then choose your option, for example a Getup attack or a Dropdown attack, then you can punish. Something to be aware of is that different characters have different heights that they are vulnerable from when holding onto the ledge. So a character like Charizard whose head pops above the stage should be careful that they're going to get hit by a move, but a character like Ganondorf wouldn't need to worry as much as he hangs down very low and isn't vulnerable. Also, if you wait too long, you're going to be vulnerable from your opponent running off and doing a back air, and if you hold for about 5 or 10 seconds, the game will forcibly drop you from the ledge, and then you'll be very vulnerable coming back. Now there are some more character-specific things, like with Fox you can do a wall jump combined with a side B, or characters like Wario, DDD, and Kirby can jump up and neutral B a shielding opponent and drag them down. But I really wanted to keep this guide simple and give newer players a general idea of what they can do at the ledge. Play around with what options are good for your specific character, and try and incorporate as many options as you can into your gameplay to keep your opponent on their toes. Like I said, if you're playing against low-level players, mixing up your options isn't too important, but it's good to get into the habit anyways. If you found this guide helpful, please leave a like or subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this one. If you have any questions or ideas for future videos, please let me know in the comments. As always, thanks for watching. Peace.